Madam Chair, my name is Jim Brown. I'm an attorney here in Portland. Madam Chair, members of the commission, on behalf of our client, Tridco Real Estate, LLC, I appreciate the opportunity to speak in support of the amendment in the scope of work of the North Settle Road LID as currently proposed. While none of the North Settle Road property owners want to incur the initially proposed $9.5 million in costs for the reconstruction of North Settle Road, all of the owners recognize the need to rebuild the road. North Settle Road is zoned heavy industrial, and there are hundreds of semi-trucks on the roadway every working day. Accordingly, it is most probably in the best long-term interests of all parties for the roadway to be constructed with a concrete rather than an asphalt surface. Based on our interactions with city staff over the past 3 years, we have found staff to share our concerns about costs and have worked with us to reduce costs. Most importantly, staff has concurred with us after reviewing the Mall Foster report that stormwaters can be managed by infiltration, thereby avoiding the initial proposal to pipe stormwaters to the river. As a result of those efforts, we have saved $1 to $2 million in costs and are optimistic that the roadway can be completed for about $6 million. We want to thank city staff and Mr. Abbey for their helpful efforts in bringing this matter to the council. Excuse me. They have listened earnestly to the property owners' concerns and have worked with us to design a project that meets the needs of the city, the property owners, and provides the capacity for the foreseeable need for North Settle Road. We're grateful for the city's funding contributions to this project. We recognize that municipal funds are always tight and applaud the city's recognition of the need for North Settle Road to be reconstructed, and its willingness to contribute significantly to the project. We appreciate Mr. Abbey's listening to Mr. Briggs' concerns about being assessed LID costs for unusable wetlands on his property. As a result, Mr. Briggs received more than a $241,000 reduction in his assessment, which was the right thing to do. Why Mr. Briggs chose to file a remonstrance against that reduction baffles me, but that's his choice. With these amendments, Mr. Abbey also addressed Supreme Pearlite's need to have city sewer line extended to their property, thereby providing city sewer to all of the current North Settle Road developed properties with which we concur. We appreciate the transparency with which city staff has moved up this project forward, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Welcome.
My name is Nick Avanetti. I'm the Director of Operations for Supreme Pearlite. We're a perlite manufacturer at the end of North Settle Road. The business has been there since 1954. It's been family owned since 1960. I'll be the third generation owner-operator of the company. The sewer extension is really important to the viability of us continuing to be at the end of North Settle Road. So this is an important extension. The cost is going to be substantial. We'll try to absorb as much as we can, but some of it will have to be attempted to be pushed onto our customers. We value living wage. We pay all of our employees above $15 an hour. We pay 100% of the medical premiums for our employees and their dependents. All those benefits are really important to us, but these costs for the LID, I hope, won't impact that. So I really appreciate all the work that's been done to try to reduce the cost of the LID. Any other funding sources would be greatly appreciated for a small business that is celebrated. We hope to be here for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Well, I don't hear well. Here's a letter that we can pass, and you don't need it in the roll call either for record. But, first of all, I'm been blessed to be 83 years old just recently,
Happy birthday.
and I'm still working 6 days a week. But I'm here to plead today to save the majority of my needed retirement funds and be able to spend time with my 82-year-old lovely wife who I've been married to for 64 years. The problem is caused by the years of the city's neglect, perhaps even malfeasance, by not caring for the 120-year-old dead-end street and using the monies that were available to them, properly pledged to them for the stormwater system, for which the 11 property owners still are paying and have for many years, about $100,000 a year for the stormwater system. You saw from the earlier pictures from Mandu how mean that street is and how flooded it is. It had no reason to be that way. The street was probably had a proper storm system. Only about a third of it has failed because it's been moving into the stormwater system. As a result, the property owners found that a proper street could be built for $4.6 million. There was some discussion on meeting all the codes and all that. We spent money with outside engineers to support that. So the point being is it does need a street. The second point is, though, that the proportion what the city is paying is way out of bounds because of the neglect for the street. And no one has really addressed that I've seen, and I've been asking for 4 or 5 years for that of a review. So effectively what happens is the property owner now has to pay from $3,000 to as much as over $13,000 a month for 20 years in order to effectively pay for the street. The problem is that there are 4 or 5 private owners on that street that sold their property or that leased their property, and the rental is only $4,000 or $5,000. In my case, we lose my retirement because if I'm going to pay that kind of money, I don't have enough money to be retired. It's just that simple. So the city has some responsibility in my mind to look at that and see who proportionally taking that responsibility. And that's what I'm here for, leading that action, and would hope that you consider that and look at it in a better manner than they look at it to my opinion. So, thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Briggs, if you could hand your letters to the council clerk, she'll distribute them to us. Colleagues, do you have any questions? Thank you. Anthony, can you come back up? And, oh, I'm sorry. There's a 4th person. My apologies.
The last person who signed up is Larry Kahn.
My name's Larry Kahn. I represent the owners of property on North Settle Road that is on the far southwest corner. And we lease our property to roughly 8 or 9 different tenants. My point is, and the reason I'm testifying at the moment, is that our property is the only property that does not rely on North Settle Road for ingress and egress. We have 3 access points, gates on North Forward Road, and most all of our truck traffic, particularly the larger truck traffic, uses those access points rather than Settle Road. So in my letter of remonstrance, I indicated that I felt that the amount of land that was included of ours in the LID assessment was way over the amount of land that should be attributed to the project. And that would entail a reduction in our assessed area of approximately 2.3 or 4 acres. Out of I believe about 6. So that's why I'm here. All of our tenants are going to be responsible for these increased costs, whether they use Settle Road or not. And
excuse me, Mr.
Sure.
Chair. I'm not quite sure what your point is. Are you suggesting that because you don't rely on that road, that you should not be included?
No, I'm only saying that a reduction of the amount of assessed property be reduced
Based on,
based on the fact that we don't utilize North Subtle Road like all of the other property owners.
do your customers use that road?
A percentage do, yes,
So,
but not, but the reduced area that I've identified in my letter of remonstrance accounts for all of those people that utilize North Subtle Road for ingress and egress. And it's considerably less than the original amount of land that was allocated towards the assessed area.
thank you. I was just trying to really understand what your,
Yeah, I think they had us down for about 6 acres. We've got a 10-acre site on North Subtle Road, or I mean, in that
right?
general property. And 6 of the 10 acres was allocated towards the Subtle Road project. And my feeling is that that number should be closer to 3.5, roughly.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask the city folks about that when they come back. Thank you.
Okay, now Andrew, please come back up. We certainly don't want to cost burden property owners or imperil people's livelihoods or stability.
Damn right you do, you're the city.
To address the two remonstrances and the issue of lesser use of Subtle Road somehow justifies a lesser investment in the LID.
Sure, be happy to do that, Andrew. I'll be LID administrator. First of all, I should just mention to council, you're not imposing a final assessment today. So really the question you're considering today is whether to extend the street and extend the sanitary sewer. I will respond to the concerns that were raised, but I just want to point out to council that there will be a final assessment ordinance that will probably come in about 18 to 24 months, something along those lines. And that will be another opportunity if council wants to make any adjustment. I would also point out on a very high level that we're still carrying a very large budget to pipe stormwater to the Columbia River. So we still are operating with the original budget and all these formations. So staff are working very hard to bring these costs in below budget. So absent any change to the assessment methodology other than charging for the street extension and sanitary sewer extension, there's plenty of opportunity to come back to that later. I want to just raise a couple of or make a couple comments. First of all, regarding the Merit USA oil re-refining remonstrance, this ordinance implements over an 86% reduction for one of the properties. So frankly, I was a little bit puzzled to get the remonstrance because we took into account the wetland area on an objective basis and made an exemption for that. So 86% is a really large reduction. The other point I wanted to make is that if we have never done LIDs in the past based on strictly access. That would be a new precedent that I would advise the council not to implement. You could have a perverse situation where somebody doesn't have a driveway on a street, they wait until the day after final assessment, they go down to the Bureau of Development Services, get a driveway permit, and now have access to newly paved street that didn't help. I would also have that even if for sake of argument, council granted a discount for no current access, ignoring future potential access, all of the properties on the north side of Federal Road also abut North Marine Drive. So if we were to grant an access for access, we would also have to take into account the properties on abutting North Marine Drive. And by the time you factor that in, the relief for the property owner on the corner of Portland Road and Federal Road would be pretty small. I think most importantly, all of the property owners in the LID have budgeted for the amount at LID formation. Really wouldn't want to, example, go back to Supreme Perlite and say thank you for spending extra on sanitary sewer extension, but we're also increasing your assessment. We decided to midstream to change the assessment methodology. So we will work very hard to continue to control costs. and do our best to keep the burden to a minimum when we come back to final assessment.
Thank you. I mean, I understand the rationale behind the last commenter's testimony, but it is the responsibility of adjacent property owners to share in the cost of improvements. And I agree it would be a bad precedent to set.